Tariffs. They sound like a great way to give the economy a little boost, right? Slap a fee on some stuff from other countries and bam! We buy more things made right here at home. But here's the thing, that tariff, it's like a sneaky price hike for everyone. You see, when companies have to pay more to import stuff, they pass those extra costs right on to you, the shopper. Imported shoes, up. Your favorite gadgets, up. Even that pineapple you love, you guessed it, up. So who's really paying for those tariffs? Spoiler alert, it's you! And that means everything from clothes to groceries end up costing more. It's like adding a hidden fee to your everyday life. So next time you hear someone say, tariffs will help the economy, just remember, they might sound good, but they can make things a whole lot pricier for everyday folks like you and me. Let's keep things affordable. Say no to Trump's tariff.
All right, guys, this is Old School Will, and today we're going to talk about something that's quietly creeping into your life. Every time you swipe that card to count your change at the register, and it's called tariffs. I'm going to keep this really simple. Yeah, those new import taxes that the big boys in D.C. say are going to help America. Well, they might just be punching holes in your wallet instead. You see, prices are jumping. Folks are standing in grocery aisles, scratching their heads, asking why a bag of oranges or a new pair of boots costs more than last month. I was just in Costco yesterday, and I was wondering why people were coming out of the store with half-filled carts. Well, I tell you what, guys, it didn't take me long to find out why. Most don't realize we're paying for those trade war taxes out of our own pockets. Today we're going to break it down the old school way. No fancy talk, just real stories from people trying to make it. We'll hear from shoppers, small business owners, and folks just trying to keep the lights on. And you will also hear from the politicians that started and keep this mess going with their lies. Oh, and by the way, when prices go up, they rarely come down. So I want you to grab that coffee or whatever keeps you going and makes you happy, and let's talk about the true cost of tariffs, straight from Main Street America. Remember, you're tuned in to Old School Life Discussions with Will, where truth don't take a backseat. And if you like my messaging, please hit that like and subscribe button. It costs you absolutely nothing and helps Old School to continue to bring you the truth. So folks, with all that being said, let's go ahead and let's kind of delve into this tariff business, something that folks kind of still haven't woke up to, I guess. But I got a feeling they are going to do that very, very, very soon, because this is a mess, and it's going to be around at least for the next 4 years. Matter of fact, it's going to be around probably decades after that. It's amazing. We're all going to suffer behind this mess, all of us, all behind the cost of a few eggs. How did that go for all y'all? Okay, with all that being said, you guys stay blessed, and I hope that everybody keeps their head above water, and let's go ahead and try to ride this tsunami out together. It's not going to be easy, folks, but let's do it. All that being said, so school will.
Are you saying that your tariffs will cause some prices to go up?
No, I think the tariffs are going to be great for us because it's going to make us rich.
But you said some dolls are going to cost more. Isn't that an acknowledgement that some prices will go up?
I don't think a beautiful baby girl that's 11 years old needs to have 30 dolls. I'm just saying they don't need to have 30 dolls. They can have 3. They don't need to have 250 pencils. They can have 5.
Who pays tariffs, Mr. Secretary? No. Answer the questions I asked, please. I only have 5 minutes. Who pays tariffs?
Sorry? Well,
who pays tariffs?
Sorry,
Mr. Secretary, please.
Excuse me.
The question is very simply, who pays tariffs, Mr. Chairman? I'd like him to answer that question.
Well,
he wants to answer other questions.
Well, Congressman, if the exporters, they dislike tariffs so much, why wouldn't they if I think what you're trying to get me to say.
Did you remember the question? I'm not sure you did. Who pays tariffs?
It's a very complicated question.
Reclaiming my time. People pay tariffs, right? Reclaiming my time, Mr. Secretary. Reclaiming my time, Mr. Secretary. Reclaiming my time. You clearly aren't going to answer. I'm not going to waste my time having you go, Mr. Secretary, reclaiming, Mr. Chairman, I asked reclaiming my time, so I'll ask one more time, who pays tariffs?
Sir, the history would show that it is a complicated mix of who pays the tariffs over various times.
So that's exactly the problem. If your answer, and you are a very educated person, you have a very impressive bio, cannot answer the question who pays tariffs because you won't answer that, and you say it's a complicated issue. It's not complicated. Consumers pay Trump's tariff tax. That's the reality.
Welcome to an updated list of everything increasing in cost thanks to Donald's tariffs. Cars, steel, aluminum, and lumber, all seafood, coffee, toilet paper, alcohol, peanuts, all dairy products, candy, all clothes, video games and video game consoles, all smartphones, furniture like couches and mattresses, houses. You thought you might not ever own a house? Well, now you really won't ever own a house. You were actually right about something for the first time in your life. Congratulations, you are not going to own a home. I'm just kidding, you could one day, but it's going to cost you a leg. But what's one limb when you've already lost your soul because of capitalism? And here are some brands that have announced that they're raising their prices to combat these tariffs. Target, Temu, and Shein, Ford and Ferrari, Newegg, ASOS, Adidas, Conagra. This is all happening because people don't understand tariffs, alright? The importing country, that would be us, are the ones that pay for the cost of the tariffs. The consumers do. Not the businesses, okay? Us consumers. As always, this list is ever changing and ever growing, unfortunately for us. So if you want to hear about what else is going to cost you a leg, let me know. Follow for more.
Wow, wow, wow. I did not realize the tariff situation will be this extreme. I've been receiving emails in my Gmail from companies that I do business with, vendors that I've purchased things from previously, letting me know that any purchase made after April 30th, tomorrow, after 3 p.m., is subject to a 170% price increase. Let me repeat that. 170% price increase. This is mind-boggling. I wonder if this will impact the items that I have in my cart in the TikTok shop. Because of these price increases, I am certainly going down to just purchasing essential items, stocking up on the things that I need, especially with my healthcare scare, and that's it. What are you doing?
This container is full of goods from China, but no one is paying taxes or tariffs on it for now. That's because we're in a bonded warehouse.
It's like a duty-free store at the airport in one sense. Legally, you can have goods here for 5 years, and then it has to move out.
They're bringing product from overseas.
Correct.
They're seeing the tariffs. They're saying, I don't want to pay this right now, and they're betting on the tariffs changing.
That's right. Everything from home furnishings, TVs, electronics, patio tools, shovels, rakes. You defer taxes and duties and tariffs until you have a buyer. It's the rate of the tariff when they withdraw it that is applied to them.
What are you hearing from your clients? How are they feeling?
I'd say there's two camps. There's some clients that are very panicked. They're worried. They don't know what they're going to do, how they're going to, face this next season. And then there's others who are they're scrappy, they're looking for new outlets, and they're doing fine.
So Donald Trump has floated the idea of 100% tariffs on movies not made in the United States because he wants to bring back Hollywood again. But here's the problem. It's already here. Movie making never went anywhere. It's a $100 billion industry completely dominated by the United States. We create the content and we distribute it around the world. What doesn't make sense is the economics, because what could happen is other countries could impose retaliatory tariffs that would hurt studios here, that would hurt so many of the thousands of people that work in the movie making industry in the United States if we can't distribute our films abroad. So yes, in theory, one could say, well, Donald Trump, he doesn't like Hollywood, or he doesn't like people in the industry, and he doesn't think they voted for him. But what he will end up doing is crushing a booming business that's booming right here in the US of A. And I thought you should know.
This 3-pack of men's athletic shorts went from $23 to $56 after retailer Temu added a more than $32 import charge into the shopping cart.
My $18 free shipping Temu order that I tried to place last night had a $27 import charge.
Over at Shein, prices rising too.
Has anyone looked at their Shein cart this morning?
Both posting nearly identical notices to customers blaming, quote, recent changes in global trade rules and tariffs. After the Trump administration closed a loophole that allowed duty-free shipment of low-cost Chinese goods directly to U.S. households, they'll now carry a 120% tariff or $100 shipping fee, rising to $200 in June. These products, so cheap even with these higher costs, many of them are still less expensive than U.S.-made goods. It's an early look at how the U.S.-China trade war will bring border taxes to Americans' bottom lines. President Trump says the two sides are negotiating, and the Treasury Secretary today said the next move is China's.
It's up to China to de-escalate because they sell 5 times more to us than we sell to them. And so these 125, 145% tariffs are unsustainable.
A Chinese official disputing the White House account, saying China and the U.S. have not conducted consultations or negotiations on the tariffs issue.
And Christine, where do we stand right now in negotiations?
Well, the Treasury Secretary today suggested progress with India in negotiating a new trade deal. But a reminder here, frankly, that sometimes it can take a couple of years to make a deal. And there's just 72 days left in the president's pause on all those extra tariffs on so many countries, Lester.
All right, Christine, thanks much.
Grocery prices are about to go up again, and it's 100% Donald Trump's fault. With Trump's 25% tariff set to go into place today, you're going to see prices go up on a lot of different things, but groceries are going to be very noticeable. Mexico and Canada are our top 2 importers for agricultural goods, accounting for 42% of agricultural imports. Consider the size of that for a second. 42% of imports of agricultural goods for 350 million people. So what exactly does that cover? Oh, you know, things we don't need like fruit or vegetables or grains, you know, nothing important. And livestock and meats and sugar and all kinds of products that we spend billions of dollars importing every year. If someone tells you that this is not a big deal, this is a big deal and you will feel it. Trump has been fucking around with this idea for a long time and he is about to find out. Very quickly, he will remember that the American people largely voted for him to lower prices, and when he does something that aggressively does the opposite thing, he is going to find out what a mistake that is.
Before you start buying a bunch of stuff from manufacturers in China because you realize that you could avoid paying the tariffs, you should know how that works so you don't get slapped with a massive bill later on that you were not expecting. That $800 threshold everyone keeps talking about is bullshit. That does not exist anymore. That was called the de minimis exception, but that was one of the things that Trump specifically removed for China. So everything that comes in from China right now is getting hit with the tariff. It does not matter how much it costs, but also you should understand who is on the hook for the tariffs and when tariffs get paid. If you buy something from a place like Shein or Alibaba, they are what's called the importer of record. That means that they're on the hook for the tariff. They're going to take care of that behind the scenes. They're going to bake it into the price. You're just going to see the price go up. Everything is fine. But if you start buying stuff direct from a manufacturer, you are now going to become the importer of record. That means when you buy stuff from their site, there's not going to be a line item that says tariff. They're not taking care of it. What's going to happen is they're going to ship it to you, and when it gets to the port, the carrier is going to reach out to you and they're going to say, hey, you have to pay customs this tariff for them to release the product so we can ship it to you. And right now it's 125%. So if you paid $50 for an item from a manufacturer, you're going to owe an additional $62.50 on top of the $50 you already paid for the tariff. And one of the things that they do is sometimes they just release it and they send you a bill later. So if you started going on a shopping spree because you notice how much cheaper everything was from the manufacturers, you might start getting these bills from customs saying, hey, you owe us 125% more than what you already paid. It might still be cheaper to go to the manufacturer. Just know what you're doing so you don't get a massive bill later on.
In-depth news. If you've noticed your grocery bills creeping higher, you're not alone. President Trump's new tariffs are hitting the produce aisle first, with fresh fruits, vegetables, and other staples becoming more expensive. Imported goods from countries like Mexico and China now face higher duties, and those costs are being passed on to shoppers. experts predict price hikes of up to 10% for items like rice, nuts, fish, and fresh produce. For low-income families, this is a serious blow, as they already spend a significant portion of their income on food. Unlike higher-income households, they have little room in their budgets to absorb these increases. The administration argues that these tariffs will eventually promote domestic farming and reduce reliance on imports. However, building local supply chains takes time, and in the short term, consumers are left with fewer affordable options. So, how can shoppers cope? Some may turn to locally grown alternatives, while others might reduce their purchases of fresh produce altogether. Either way, it's clear that these tariffs are reshaping the way Americans shop for food.
The price of a stroller is also up, to which Donald Trump says, who cares?
Some prices are going up, tires, strollers, some clothing in the wake of your tariffs.
Excuse me, that's peanuts compared to energy. Energy is 60% of the cost.
But sir, you
you
campaigned on a promise to bring prices down on day
Well, I don't know. When
one.
you say strollers are going up, what kind of a thing? I'm saying that gasoline is going down. Gasoline is thousands of times more important than a stroller.
We have some major breaking news right now. The United States is now on the verge of an economic crisis from supply chain issues as a result of Donald Trump's tariffs. The executive director of the Port of Los Angeles spoke to CNN and said that this week, the Port of LA is down 35% in terms of shipments coming in compared to the same time last year. Port of LA had expected 80 ships to arrive in May. 20% have already canceled. More cancellations of imports are expected for June. Customers, according to Soroka, have already canceled 13 sailings for June. That number likely will only continue to rise in June as long as these tariffs stay in effect. That's not all. The imports coming in from China on boats right now is more than 50% less than this time last year. The drop-off is significant. Businesses are just not willing to pay the higher import costs because of these tariffs, and as a result, Americans will have less to buy, prices will go up, so get ready, spread the word, and I'll do a full breakdown on my Substack shortly, linked in my bio, so subscribe for free.
A bunch of billionaires telling you that you don't need to worry about tariffs or the stock market crashing is like Superman telling you you don't have to worry when a bullet is coming right for your chest. Paying 25% more for the goods that they buy or losing some of their stock portfolio will affect them about as much as a bullet would hitting Superman's chest.